What's that?
Too bad the weed whacker broke.
I know.
You could have cleared that out. Are you filming?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am out here at the property with Mrs. D. We got a chance to get away for the day.
Yes.
And it's our anniversary today.
Mm-hmm.
So how long have you been tolerating me?
Well, married for 14 years.
Married for 14.
But met 15 years ago.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
15 years ago. I've been giving her all sorts of grief.
We met 15 years ago, and he proposed 6 months later.
Yep. Kind of direct. I knew what I want.
Yeah.
So we got a chance to left the kids with what, your parents,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what's happening back there. So
I don't know.
we just spent the day up here. Got a little, can't see it, but because we were gonna have the camera behind it, but we got a little bonfire going behind it. You might be able to hear it and see some smoke, but we should be on the, it's kind of going that way. So
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a chance to hang out up here. We've just been working on the cabin a little bit and kind of getting it cleaned up and figuring out kind of what we're gonna do next with it. And what do you think? What's your, the last video we talked, I gave everybody a tour.
Oh, okay.
I kind of showed them the layout, like, of what's going on up here.
Yeah.
But here's kind of the follow-up, right? So the first thing we have to do is, like, right behind the camera, well, not about, I don't know, 50 feet behind the camera, 60 feet behind the camera, is our property line somewhere. I mean, it's somewhere over there. And we have to get that surveyed. So I called up the surveyors, and I was thinking, yeah, they'll come out maybe in a week or two, and you know, shoot a line.
What about
yeah,
tomorrow?
Come out tomorrow. We'll come out tomorrow. No, they're 4 weeks out. So everybody around here in this area, in all of northern Idaho, is pretty much booked up. So everything's going to happen. If we want to do something, it's going to be a lot slower than we thought. I don't know what's going on up here. Well, I do know what's going on up here. A lot of people are moving up here. You know, we've owned this place for about 8 years, but we find more and more people moving up here and just getting out of the cities and that type of stuff, which we understand. That means that these guys are booked up pretty much through the summer. So, and I actually talked to a pole building contractor, and they said don't even think about it until the fall. So if we wanted to do a pole building right now, we wanted to put, buy something like that and put it up here, it would be the fall. It would be somewhere in September before they could even look at it.
I don't think I knew about that.
Did I tell you about that?
No.
Yeah, I called them back and they
That's a
said,
bummer.
and I left a message with a well driller. I haven't heard anything. So everybody's just slammed. So I would assume that we won't get anything seriously started until probably the end of the summer, just because there's nobody available. But we're gonna keep seeing what we can do. So I'm waiting on a quote from the surveyors, and I just need to get this whole line, the back part of our property surveyed, right? That's step one. So we don't want to encroach on anybody's property. So you have to know exactly where you're at. Then we'll know if we can put a fence up there. We'll know where the well's gonna go. We'll know where the shop's gonna go in the future. What else? What else we gotta do? We've been taking some stuff out of the cabin and gonna sell it. We just don't need it anymore.
Yeah, extra things that are in the way.
Yeah, over the years we've just brought stuff up here thinking it would work, and we're gonna thin that out. We talked about that Dometic. Is this thing looking good? Too dark? No, that's all right. Should be all right. What do you think? So now that we have that Dometic fridge that we talked about, we were thinking, well, maybe we just get rid of that propane one that's in the cabin. It's just in the way. So we might end up taking that cap and that thing off and taking it out.
We usually use a cooler. So, and then the Dometic is way better than.
Hang on, all right, wind is changing directions again, so it's kind of a storm kicking up. Looks like we're gonna get some rain here pretty soon. So yeah, that's what we're out doing today. Just kind of kicking back. We got this little bench put up here we're sitting on, so we're just kind of trying to make it to where we can hang out here a little easier, and enjoying our fire pit. We haven't hardly used this fire pit very much.
Oh, now we're using it this year.
Yeah, we're using it this year a lot, or a few times.
I love this thing.
It's really cool.
It's so cool. What is it again? Like, what was?
It was from.
Where did you get it from?
I think it's a rock crushing disc. It's for rock crushing in a quarry.
Yeah, we have a friend that gave it to us.
Yeah, I put this in last year or year before. Last year.
Well, my dad went in on it with him or something
Yeah.
like that, and they gave it to us as a gift.
So we kind of got that set
Really
up.
cool.
So we always have this joke that on our anniversary, it's always raining.
It always is cold or rainy or something like that. It was like that on our wedding day.
Yep.
It rained that morning, and it kind of drizzled a little during the reception, and it was cloudy.
Yep.
And then, and it's funny because it's always nice, like the day before, the day after, and all that, but just right on the day.
It's got some
It
blue,
wants
we got
to
some
be.
blue sky right now. A little
Yeah,
bit.
it's
Of
opening
course, we
up
got
a
like a
little
big
bit.
black cloud coming.
It's not supposed to rain anymore, but
It
you
was-
never know around here.
It was supposed to be 70 degrees today and sunny, but it looks like a storm's rolling in. Storms kind of, in this area, it's kind of cool because you'll get like a storm, you know, rain coming in, kind of blowing through, and then it just ends pretty quick. It only
Mhm.
lasts about 10-20 minutes, and then you usually get some breaks in the weather. It's
Yeah.
just on or off, but we're in between two mountain ranges, and it kind of keeps the weather. It's a lot of storms, but you can see the storms, but they don't usually hit you.
Yeah, sometimes
'Cause
they
they're-
just kind of go around.
Yeah,
on
they go
both
around
sides.
you. You can watch them through the mountains, but you don't ever really get hit with them too bad. I mean, sometimes you get it, but
There's
but,
bug on me.
so before I mentioned that Mrs. D and I were going to talk about like a little bit of how we got out of debt, you know, and what this thing's all. And one of the reasons, the other reason that we haven't been able to move on a lot of this stuff over the years is because we've done everything up here with cash, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we bought the place with cash. We saved up, saved up for a long time, and then we bought it when the market was really bad. I mean.
Mhm.
That's like the only good
And
investment.
found a
I've
guy
ever-
that wanted to get rid of a bunch of property
yeah,
really quick.
that was like the most
So.
crazy thing because I don't think we've ever talked about that. But like when we came up here, we were looking for probably what, a year and a half, 2 years to try to find some land. This is
Mhm.
back in like 2009, 2010, 11. You know, kind of low part of the recession and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And so we knew property values were low. We didn't have any kids, and we were paying off a bunch of student debt at the time, but we did have some money saved up, so we wanted to invest. We knew that it would be a good investment at that time because everything was tanked. Like our house value was like half, and so our strategy then was, it was irritating because we couldn't sell our little house. Remember, I mean, we
Mhm.
couldn't. It was worth like half of what we paid for it. So
Yeah.
we were like, dang. So that wasn't good. So, but we knew that everything else was cheap. So instead of worrying about it, the one good thing we did was we found a piece of property during that time. And I
Mhm.
mean, it was down like bare land because banks weren't lending. So you had to buy cash. So everything was so cheap. So
Yeah.
we bought it like 1970s price. It was ridiculous.
Super cheap.
Super cheap. And so we bought this place.
Like we should have bought more.
Yeah, we should have probably bought 2 or 3 more, even though we would have had to take out loans. It
There's
would
a
have been
big
scary.
raven.
It's a huge raven.
Yeah, it's huge.
Holy cow.
This is like giant raven.
So we bought the property cash, super low, 10 acres.
Mhm.
Your parents bought 10 acres next to us, so we technically have 20 acres right here. And so we sat, then a few years later, you guys saw us build the cabin. 2013 we built the cabin, so 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, we built the cabin.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so we've had to do everything cash the whole time. And in the meantime, because I had a lot of student debt, I had like a lot
Yeah.
from where I went. But we just had to pay it. Like we literally just paid it. Any chance we got, we doubled down. We just would pay it, and that was like pretty much our main debt.
Yeah.
And then the housing market turned around, so that went up. We bought a different house. We moved because that place was like, I don't know, that neighborhood went downhill quick.
Well, when we sold the house, we paid off the rest of
Yeah,
the student
yeah,
debt.
we were able to pay off some of the student, like a lot of the rest of the student debt with the house, and still have, it ended up working out. We just stuck with it.
Mhm.
And I think that's the whole point, is that, a lot of people when the market tanked just walked away from their house. Remember that?
Mhm.
They just foreclosed or
Yeah.
walked away or short sold. And, that's one of the reasons why all the values really went bad. So we stuck with it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of like my thinking is this: if you took out the debt, it's your responsibility to pay it back, even if it goes bad.
Mhm.
So we did, and it actually turned around. It took 10 years like to turn around. So point is that we had to kind of like let this thing ride. But But we're kind of at the position now where we're looking like we're starting to save up. We've been able to save quite a bit. A few more years have passed. We've been able to, so far, knock on wood, if everything holds together a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff going on right now that's kind of shaky. But like, I think that this is probably a good investment, no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, if it goes really sideways and really bad, we would have this, right?
Yes.
So it's good to invest in this kind of thing, get some infrastructure up here. I think it's just motivated us to do that. So, but that's what we're talking about. We can't just say, okay, we want a well, we want a shop, we want a house, we want the driveway put in, all the stuff. You're talking a lot of money. Up here, it's expensive. I mean, really, like to have somebody come out, contract work, it's expensive because we're off grid. There's no power. So they have to bring in generators and all that kind of stuff, and it's just expensive to do it. They're used to doing it. It's not hard for people to do. Speaking of generators, like our neighbors have a generator. They're
just
off
turned
gridders.
off.
Everybody up here is
Got
off
really
gridding.
quiet.
Yeah, everybody up here is an off gridder. There's like there's people around here, you just don't see them. Like,
Yeah.
it's funny because people will move in up here. Like they'll buy a piece of property, you know, and like they don't know we're here, and then we're here for a little bit, and they kind of hear us, and then people get kind of irritated, I think, because they think that they're the only ones here, because you can't see your neighbors. But every one of these properties over the last 8 years, 9 years has been bought by somebody, and we actually kind of know most of the people who owns the properties, including the one behind us, which they're just using it as an investment property. I think.
Yeah, I don't think they're
going to build. But we know them. Like, I know who they are. Interestingly enough, they're from my hometown. It's so weird.
It's really
It
weird.
was the weirdest thing ever. So we know who they are. I've met them before. Cool people. But new people down there behind us. And so it's funny because everybody thinks that they're the only ones. They're brand new, and we're all going like,
It feels like you're the only one.
It feels like you're here. It feels like you're the only one. You're not. Understand where your boundaries are.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation before where people just kind of wander onto your property and think, where's the little property line? You have to kind of describe that, point it out to people, because they just don't do the research usually. So that's the whole thing. But like we've kind of lived our life trying to get out of that debt, don't you think? And I think it's super, for me, it takes away a lot of the stress. You know, I mean, if we had to move, or if we had to cut back pay, you know, if something happens with a job, you just have way less stuff that you have to pay for. I mean, that's just simple. I mean, when you're in debt, you're essentially a slave to whatever institution you're in debt to, and they're not going to be nice about it if you have to pay. They're just going to take whatever you have. So we kind of got out of all that student loan stuff. You can never get student loans bad because you can't get rid of it. You can't go bankrupt and get rid of it. You can't do anything. You got to just pay it off. They're pretty lenient as far as like interest rates, but you just have to pay it. And everybody, it's funny because I see my friends who go to school, and the first thing they do when they graduate is complain about the student debt. Oh my gosh, what do I do? I have to and they try to get out of it. And it's like, I've always thought that was really stupid. You know what I mean? You've seen it before, right? Like where they always want something like debt forgiveness, because, you know, they'll go to school for like, you know, underwater basket weaving, and then they wonder, well, there's no jobs, and I just paid $60,000 for school, and there's no jobs in underwater basket weaving. And I don't get that. I've never understood that. Debt sucks. You know, when you're like, I'd like to buy something, but you have to pay $800 a month for your student debt. That's terrible. So here's what you do. This is the, you know, you've heard of Dave Ramsey's philosophy. This is my philosophy. Pay it off. Smile about it. It's your fault. You took it out. Pay it off. Right? Nobody's going to pay it off for you. Okay? And if you want somebody to pay it off for you, too bad. You did it.
Well, we just like.
So we just did it. Just pay it
Yeah,
off.
we pay
Smile
down,
about it.
pay
Pay
down,
it off.
pay extra down on the principal
Yeah.
every month.
Yep. If you can pay extra instead of buying, you know, a bunch of extra junk, pay it off.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time where when we were first married, it was like we were paying like $700-800 a month in student loans. Once you get it paid off, you can take that money and buy a bigger house, or you can buy a property, or you can buy whatever. But that's what you have to do. So that's been our philosophy, is just pay it off. We tried to let that, you know, pay it off as quick as we can. So You know, now I think that's kind of, we're in the next, I think, kind of phase of what we want to do, which is develop this property and kind of figure out what we can do with that. We just don't know the cost. We've never really gotten serious about the costing, so it's hard for me to go, yeah, do that, because I don't know how much it's going to cost, right? It could be $50,000, it could be $300,000. I have no idea what people charge for stuff up here. Because remember the kit building thing, we did that at our house. So I built that myself, this cabin, in our garage. So I knew how much that was going to cost. But it's just a matter of...
you don't know how much a well's going to cost because you don't know how low they're going to have to dig.
Yeah, and
deep they're going to have to
some
dig.
people around here get away and it's $5,000. It's down, 150, 75 feet, tons of water. Some people, it's 300 feet and 15 grand, You just don't know. So we have to figure out how we're going to do that, because I don't want to go into a ton of debt on this place either, But at the same time, you need water. You have to have it. So, that's what we're going to talk to they have a lot of well records around this area, so we're going to just rely on those guys to kind of tell us what they think, would be needed, and that's it. So, but if you want our advice, since you asked, if you want our advice on debt, pay it off. Smile about it. Don't get upset about it. It's your responsibility. You were irresponsible enough to get your underwater basket weaving degree. Pay it off. I mean, I have a design degree, and it's paid off, but it was really it was a lot of money to get that degree. Would I do it again today? No, I don't think so. I don't think I would. I think there's a lot of other ways of getting that experience. Back, 20 years ago, you couldn't get a design degree unless you had a college. But now the internet, now with all these YouTube channels about design, you can learn most of this stuff online and just do a trade type thing, a couple of year certificate or whatever, and get something going and then get experience. I don't think I would even get my degree. I think it'd be a waste of money today. I really do. Do you think?
I don't know.
I mean, it has paid off. It has paid off, but you have to understand the school that I went to is like twice what I paid for it then, which is crazy. I mean, I think it's around $180,000 to graduate from there now. I don't think I'd pay that. If you want to do that, spend that kind of money, buy a Ferrari and forget it. You know what I mean? Just do that. Some people, you guys ask us some crazy questions, so we've given you some unsolicited advice right now on our anniversary because we're feeling old and we're feeling like we need to tell you what to do. Right? Isn't that what it is?
I mean, you feel like that.
Yeah, I just feel old
kidding.
and grumpy and that kind of thing. So we're gonna start telling you what we think. Everybody's really open about giving us their opinion, so we're gonna do the same. All right, so that's about all we have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're just gonna sitting around the fire, anniversary, enjoying each other, enjoying at least the sort of sunny weather, which is a kind of a breakthrough. Like there's some blue sky still here. Mountains behind us, fire over here, cabin over there. Neighbor's generator just turned off, so it's quiet now again. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys are doing well. We're gonna finish out the day and then head back and see the little kids tonight.
Yeah.
Hopefully they haven't destroyed the place.